Here at Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, we trust in the power of joining together in prayer. So I again welcome our prayer partner this week, Susan Hagar. Susan.
Thank you. Yes, together in prayer. And we are holding in prayer this month Unity Spiritual Center Hamilton and Unity Kitchener. And I'm sure by now you have the sense of community that we are, that you are, that I am, and we are better together in prayer. So let us do that now. I invite you to close your eyes if you wish and turn within and connect with your breath to help you stay centered and allow my words to be your words. And I turn within, I open to the magnificence and the magic and the mystery of the universe and of my life. And I know there is one power and one presence, alive and active in the universe, in my life, in all lives. And as God is, as Source is, as Creator is, I am. And I am the power of order in action. And I see this order in my life. And I know I have the ability to be flexible and to move with grace and ease as life unfolds. And I can know this from my friends and my family who may not know it for themselves. And I see this divine order informing my life and informing life in general. And I am grateful. This knowing leads me to places that I never thought possible. This guidance lives as me. And with gratitude, I release this prayer to the universe, knowing that it is so. Amen.
Thank you, Susan. Well, this morning, as we approach the Unity World Day of Prayer this week, we're taking a dive this morning into the meaning of holding the high watch. Oops, I don't have my camera on. The term high watch, we bandy that about in Unity. We have for years. What does it mean? Where did it come from? Well, it's a term that was coined by New Thought pioneer Emma Curtis Hopkins. And Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore and May Roland, who was the head of Silent Unity for over 15 years, used the term frequently when in their written and their spoken communication. So what does it mean to hold the high watch? Well, we have someone very special with us this morning to guide us in our understanding of that idea, and that is Rev Toni Boehm. Rev Toni is an ordained Unity minister, internationally known speaker, and author of 12 books. She is a certified organization and life coach, nurse, poet. She was the former vice president of education, hospitality, and retreats for Unity Institute, and was, okay, then there's more. She was the 2017 recipient of the Charles Fillmore Award for Visionary Leadership. And Roxanne put in her own personal thumbs up this morning as Reverend Toni being one of her pivotal teachers. So what a special treat it is for us this morning to welcome Reverend Toni Boehm. Reverend Toni, on behalf of USCO, blessed good morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to start this morning. It's my pleasure to be here. And so we're going to start with our meditation. So to take us into meditation, I am going to sound a bell 3 times and then invite you to drop into your heart. So closing your eyes, bringing your attention into this moment. Listen, listen, listen. As the energy and vibration of the bell sends ripples of waves out into your energy field. Let us focus our attention in our heart. For it is in that heart space where we connect with the presence, the power, the frequency, the energy of Christ consciousness. Connecting with that energy that is a radiant, crystalline, pure, golden white diamond light. Feel yourself as this energy field. And whatever it is that you may have come with as a concern, be it a desire for peace of mind, a wanting of a relationship, a financial issue, clarity around an idea, a new job, whatever it is, retranslate it into the language of source awareness, divine order, divine will, divine love, divine understanding. I am sensing, feeling, knowing I am the presence of the living Christ. I am the presence of the living Christ. And in that energy field, in that knowing that I am one with source energy, that I show up in all I do as source energy, knowing that it is not I, but the energy, the Christ frequency within me that does the work. I open myself to synchro divinity. Those moments where the universe sets us up for success, where everything is in divine order and aligned and moves us like a chess piece to the right place at the right time to meet or experience that right experience that is for our next phase of soul growth. And so it is with that thought. Let us take this idea. I am the presence of the living Christ. I am synchro divinity in action. Into the silence. Into the silence. For a period of 2 minutes. Into Now, having touched that source, I hold the high watch without wavering, knowing absolutely that there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. And in that knowing, I claim and decree that the Spirit goes before me to make straight my path, to rearrange the matrix of the highest possibility, to be drawn to me in accordance with cosmic law. And so it is, in the name and through the power of the living Christ energy and frequency that lives me. So it is. Amen, amen, amen. Take a deep breath. Bring your attention and awareness back to this moment. Well, good morning, everybody. It is so great to see all of you, to be in the conscious awareness, sharing that together. My name is Rev Toni Boehm, and it is my pleasure to be here with you this morning. So today's lesson is High Watch, and it was selected because we're kicking off the World Day of Prayer this week. And so it has a twofold meaning to it. It's to bring the attention to the idea that prayer is a vital aspect of the power of order, which is the order for the month, and to bring you some information about High Watch and what it means. And how did it get started in the Unity movement? We don't use it a lot now, but there was a period of time during the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, that word was everywhere. So, and it eventually became one of the 12 powers as defined by Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of Unity with his wife, Myrtle. I have been called a Fillmorean, and I am a Fillmorean because I love Charles Fillmore. I love Charles Fillmore, and what I love today, after 50 years of study, is I love to connect Fillmore to the new science. It's a nurse in me, the researcher, that loves to connect Fillmore to the new science, the quantum physics, and how is what Fillmore's saying back then really connect with today. But today we're going to be focusing on the mysticism of Emma Curtis Hopkins. Emma Curtis Hopkins was considered the teacher of teachers. And so as we focus on that, we're going to see how Emma Curtis Hopkins influenced the Fillmores in her teachings and writing. So Charles Fillmore said, speaking of order, that order is heaven's first law. Order is heaven's first law. Prayer aligns us with that law. As we surrender, as we're willing to surrender to divine order and its gifts, instead of going for my way, my will. We've all been there, what I want, oh, it's not happening. When we just really focus on that divine order, knowing that order prevails no matter what, and knowing that everything is happening for a reason, it doesn't matter what it looks like. That's why the great lesson of judge not by appearance given to us by Jesus. Because we're to focus on the order of the universe, always revealing itself in every moment. So Fillmore said that all aspects of life must be in order for us to have harmony and prosperity in all things. So we have to have all aspects of our life in order. Because what we know today is, according to Ken Wilber, it's all quadrants, all levels. And we are a multi-system being. We have an eco, bio, neurochemical, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, karmic, etheric levels levels of being. And Fillmore says we have to have them all in order. That's what really reaching the place where we know how to be. I wrote a book once called The Power of Being, to be the presence. I am the presence of the living Christ. But we have to do a lot of clearing to be that presence. So Fillmore says if you're struggling with harmony, upsetting relationships, peace of mind, lack of clarity, or prosperity issues, I say perhaps this lesson will help you. You know, I'm awed by the order. You look around us and order is everywhere. Fillmore said order is heaven's first law. The planets, the cycles, the moon, everything's in place in a rhythm. I don't know what awes you, but as a nurse practitioner, every time I saw a baby born, I was awed almost to tears. I'm awed by the way a beautiful flower can be grown from an ugly brown bulb. I'm awed by the constant ebb of tides and the moon. I'm awed by the cycles that our bodies go through. For me, these are evidence of order and that source, that one presence, that one power. And when I'm in that space of awe, nothing can upset me because I know that regardless, there's a presence and a power that is working for me. And the life force that keeps all the planets in order, that same life force lives in me. So back to Charles and Myrtle and Emma Curtis Hopkins. As they began their conscious spiritual journey, they sought out the best to learn from and to be advised from. And this is the secret to soul growth, as I have found it. Find those mentors, someone you can trust, and people that will tell you the truth. Not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And Emma Curtis Hopkins was one of those people that many people sought out. Emma Curtis Hopkins taught Emily Cady, and Emily Cady was definitely a teacher and friend. Remember, Emily Cady wrote Lessons in Truth. She was a teacher and friend to the Fillmores, and she was a frequent visitor. And she learned from Emma Curtis Hopkins, but then so also did the Fillmores. And Myrtle Fillmore and May Roland, director of Silent Unity for 50 years, when writing or speaking about Silent Unity, often use the term, "We are holding the high watch for you," to describe what they were doing in Silent Unity. And they would write things like, when your life is chaotic, know that Silent Unity is holding the high watch. That brought many people peace because they knew somewhere someone was holding the high watch for them. So that term, high watch, was coined by Emma Curtis Hopkins. Now, Emma Curtis Hopkins lived from 1849 to 1925. She died at the age of 71. She studied for 2 years with Mary Baker Eddy, who really kind of set everything in motion for New Thought. Emma Curtis Hopkins had a broad education, and she was well versed in Eastern and mystical traditions. And she went on to be a giant in the field of New Thought. People like Charles and Myrtle, Emily Cady, Ernest Holmes, Lillian Waters, Catherine Ponder, Joel Goldsmith, they all studied under Emma Curtis Hopkins. And she's known for her mysticism and her mystical approach to life. So today we share in these teachings of Emma Curtis Hopkins because I'm going to share with you her 12 gates and how they were actually precursors to Charles Fillmore's 12 powers. So Charles Fillmore, as we know, says the Bible is the story of our soul evolution. I know at times, often when we're new to Unity, we say, putting that Bible behind me, I'm not going anywhere near it. But I'm telling you, friends, that Bible holds mystical secrets when you're willing to be open to its teaching. Even if you just focus on the teachings of Jesus in the 4 Gospels, it will grow you exponentially. He says that the teachings of Jesus are a blueprint for our lives. But he said you have to have eyes to see and ears to hear. And you have to be able to absorb the vibration that allows you to do that. So back to Emma Curtis Hopkins. She initiates her High Watch discourse with an absolute understanding of the role of the energy of the radiant I am. Well, you know, Fillmore talked a lot about the power of the I am. She called it the radiant I am, and she used this, you might call it affirmation. And it says, and listen deeply to it because it carries an incredible vibration. The radiant I am is authority over all my universe. I ordain the 12 powers to spread absolute as the dominant vibration of my being. Breathe that in. The radiant I am authority. The radiant I am is authority over all my universe. I ordain the 12 powers to spread absolute as the dominant vibration of my being. Those words are still as powerful today as when Emma Curtis Hopkins said them. And she said the way to experience that vibration of the radiant I am is through the 12 gates, or the 12 powers. So I'm just quickly going to go over those 12. The first is the name. She says the first thing you must understand is that there is power in the name. And what is the name? Because we know to name is to label. And often when we label something, we lower the vibration. But she says the name I am resounds in the energetic ethers and cannot be diminished, for it is the way. So again, that's why Fillmore teaches us, be careful what you attach your I am to. Be careful when you say, I am sick, I am tired, I am this, I am that. Be very, very careful of the feeling energy you attach to that. Think of it as the absolute. And here's something else about Emma Curtis Hopkins. Once she started teaching, 1, you never stopped her, and 2, you didn't interfere and you didn't ask questions. Her word was the absolute. So when she would say, I am the way, the truth, and the life, as Jesus said in John 14:16, she said it with such power and authority. I am the way, the truth, and the life. Like she knew it in every cell of her being for herself. When she said, I have overcome the world, meaning I am has overcome the world. So that's 1, the name. Know the power in the name I am. 2, her second gate is deny all but God. Oh, friends, how often, how much we let ourselves slip and live in separation. We give power to things like COVID. Now, that doesn't mean we don't use prudence, but we don't give it the power of fear. We stay in the idea of prudence, of knowing that there is nothing, as Jesus said to Pontius Pilate, I have legions you know not of. So denial of all but God, knowing source energy, one vibration that calls all into creation. 3, she says, affirm all as of God. Now, she didn't say, affirm him over there as of God, affirm that beautiful flower as of God, but don't affirm that ugly ball, or don't affirm the Taliban. Imagine if we affirm the Taliban as of God. Meaning, not what they're doing. You don't condone what people do. You hold the high watch at the core of your being. You are as of God. I know this. I know this. And friends, when you know this, you know it because you know it in here in your heart. And when you know it, you be as of God. And when you hold that consciousness that's so clear, so power-filled, you become an alchemical transformer of energy. By your presence, you can change what's happening. The matrix shifts. So affirmation is 3. 4, she says, is faith. The evidence that God is all and of all. God is all. It's not in some things. Either God is or God isn't. I've said that for years. Either God is or God isn't. So we can't proclaim something bad. God has to be in the midst of it. Now, there's different levels and vibrations and frequencies, but the divine idea behind all things is God, the good, omnipotent. The I am, the authority and dominion of the I am. Number 5, she says, has to do with works. She said, make sure your works are done in the presence of God through you. Not because you want to be seen, not because you want to be in authority, not because your ego is looking for a pat on the back, but to glorify the presence of God in everything you do. You stand as witness for that creator energy doing its work. And that becomes so important. She says, how do you do this? So I'm going to give you some practical application. How do you do this? How do you stand as that presence? She says, first, you have to redeem your thoughts. That takes work, friends. Your thoughts just don't redeem themselves. You have to be willing to practically apply the teachings. And when a negative thought comes up, when a thought of fear comes up, you stop it. I am the presence of the living Christ. I am the presence. You're not denying that there's things happening. You just know where the power is. And she says that redemption, redeeming thoughts, has to do with confidence, works at the level of the claim of the dominion of the I am. How much in dominion is the I am of your being? She says, 2, how do you do this? Is harmonizing presence. It's not what happens to us that makes us healthy, happy, and radiant. It's what we harmonize with and through. What we speak and what we describe, the power of our thoughts and our words and our feelings. Your words have the power to build or destroy. And what do they build or destroy? Because you are the creator of your universe. They build or destroy you. So the soul decides the goal, not the storms of life. The storms of life will rock you to and fro, but your soul, when it remains in that high watch, will decide the goal of Christ, of God, of source. I am the truth and the light regardless. So that's 5, and that's how it works with those things, the redeeming, the redemption of thoughts, the harmonizing process, and knowing the soul decides my good, and knowing that I am the truth. So 6, she says, understanding. 6 is understanding, understanding of the I am, understanding of God. She knows, you know that you know that you know that the I am brings the spiritual demonstration. You create in consciousness, and that consciousness becomes your demonstration. Demonstration doesn't change anything. It is consciousness that changes it. And I like to use this quote, John 4:35. I love it. It says, you say there are 3 months until the harvest. I say, lift up your eyes and see the fields. If the fields are not ripe for harvest now. So instead of looking what's in front of you, you know the truth. Regardless, there is good. Regardless of what is happening, there is good. And In Revelation 21:5, when we're talking understanding, behold, I make all things new. I like to say this way. Behold, I am makes all things new. So I don't get any idea that it's Toni in there doing anything. Behold, I am makes all things new through inner vision and holding the high watch, not outer vision. God, outer vision is going to drive us crazy. And John 14:26 says, when we're understanding, the Holy Spirit whom the Father will send in my name will teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance. The Holy Spirit whom the Father, whom the universal intelligence, the universal impulse, source energy, will send in the name of the I am, the dominion and authority of the I am as you stand as its witness, will teach you all things. Friends, I am a spiritual coach and mentor to many, because here's what I know that I know that I know. One, I know that I know nothing. And two, is that as you really lean into this dominion of the I am, it opens energy fields to you. And what I know is that when I mentor and coach, I see things, I see energy, I feel energy, I sense energy. And that energy can sometimes unlock spiritual dimensions within people. That's one of the gifts that comes as you hold this high watch. So 6 is understanding. 7 is ministry. She said, when you are ministry, you can only do ministry to others, when you know that you know for yourself. Otherwise, you're a clanging bell. You're metaphysically. You're out there telling others what to do, but you don't live it yourself. And how do you know when you're really ripe for ministry and demonstration of that ministry? When you know no fear. That's a huge one, friends. When you know no fear. Here's what Emma Curtis Hopkins says, calling on the name I am smites the ethers into new activities. I'm going to say that again because I love it. Calling on the name I am smites the inner ethers into new activities. There is a miracle working presence and we must identify with it. 8 is sight. It's kind of what I just talked about. Sight. She says the 8th gate is sight. When you are in spiritual consciousness, when you are in I am dominion. Now I'm going to take a step back here. I'm going to go to Genesis 1:26 to 28. Now we know 26, but 27 and 28, we kind of leave hanging. But here's 26. Let us make them in our image, male and female. Let us make them. Meaning give them the qualities of the masculine and the feminine. Wrap it up in the I am. That I am, make them in our image, the image of the I am. And then it says, and give them dominion, authority, and power to subdue all things. Which means, friends, there is nothing greater in the outer than the God in you. Nothing greater. That's why there's no room for fear. And fear does not live at the level of the Christ. Fear and fear, you ain't at the level of the Christ. If you're in anxiety, you've dropped down in vibration. So sight, the spiritual mind is never deceived. It'll open you to sensing, seeing, and moving. 9, she used the word holiness. Holiness. She said, holiness means like Luke 4:18. There's a holiness that arises when you know the dominion of the I am and the power and the capacity to subdue. Not through you, through the power of the I am as you. You move from Toni or Sue or John to God as, source as. And in that then in Luke 4:18, you know, the Spirit of the Lord, the I am, The I am is upon me, and I am ordained to heal the sick, to raise the dead, to bring sight to the blind. And you go, wow, I don't think I'll ever be able to do that. And I say, when you're in that high watch consciousness, you're doing it. When a friend calls you and says, I just don't know what to do, and you have the power of the word, and suddenly they're calmed, you have raised a dead spirit. You give yourself the knowing that that's how it works. 9 is holiness. 10, the divine self, one and all. So it means resurrection, overcoming. 10 is that resurrection and overcoming pettiness and hurt feelings and taking things personally. I've been working with ministries now for 30 years. I was the dean of the ministerial school for 20 years. I thought I retired, and then I was hired by UWM to become the director of ministry skills. That's where I met Roxanne when I was going around doing board training and trainings. And I did that for 12 years. And one of the things I see is that we still have a lot of people taking things personally. It's time to let that go. It's time to let that go. Overcoming pettiness, because that's what resurrection and overcoming, and Mr. Fillmore was big with that word overcoming. I have overcome the world, Jesus said. I have overcome the world. 11 and 12, these last two gates, Emma Curtis Hopkins says, they constitute a science in and of themselves. And guess what? You can't get to 11 and 12 until you've really mastered 1 through 10. And 11 and 12, 11 is judge not by appearance. No more. You're not judging by appearance. Now you have right sight. You're keeping your eye single. It's all there, friends. Those teachings of Jesus. When I thought I was retiring in 2006, and I was taking some time, many things happened to me. But I went to the archives during that time, a little bit after 2006. And I had been in charge of the archives, had been in charge for over 20 years, that's how long I was there. But I walked in and I asked if I could go back to the unpublished Fillmore area. And way back in the back, I came across, my hand touched a manuscript by Charles Fillmore. And it was called, I brought it out, it started vibrating in my hands. It hadn't seen the light of day since 1946. It was vibrating in my hands, and it was called The Story of Jesus' Soul Evolution. And written right on the front of it was, keep this until the world is ready. Keep this until the world was ready. And what it was, this story of Jesus' soul evolution. And I got permission from Unity, and I wrote it up in my book, The Soul Mastery. I just finished a book last year called Soul Mastery, and it's the last chapter. It is the metaphysical interpretation of the story of Jesus's life as a blueprint for the story of our life metaphysically. And then I added some energy pieces to bring it into new language. It's powerful, powerful, friends. And that's where we learn to judge not by appearance. Keep your eyes single. And she says, only the practitioners of the first shall understand 11 and 12. She said, the disciples of Christ preached one name only, the name of the I am. And she says, the I am will allow you to rule over many. So know the power of it in the name. Know the gnosis, that there's hidden wisdom and mystical powers in that name. Pray as if you've already received, knowing there's nothing to get. There's nothing to get. That's what it says in Matthew. Seek first the kingdom. Seek first the kingdom. There's nothing to get. Consider the lilies of the field and see what is, and know that right people, right places, right powers will be given unto thee. I call these synchronicities. In 12, the last gate is praise. Praise, because she says, take no thought. And she said, Matthew 6:25, this is the hidden key to the gates. Take no thought. The hidden keys to the gates. And so in wrapping up, friends, here's what I know, that I know, that I know, that I know, that I know, in the midst of knowing nothing. After 50 years of studying and living, not just studying, friends, living, practically putting these teachings into action. What I know is I am the power of source moving through me, as me, is a divine chemical and transformer, meaning that as I be that presence, as I be that presence, be the presence, be the peace, be the power, be the order, letting that move through me. That energy acts as an alchemical transformer of energy wherever I go, to make straight my path and rearrange the matrix for the highest possibility to be drawn to me. Because now I am a higher level broadcast signal. So in closing, I go back to the affirmation. I'm going to say it once and then we'll say it together. The radiant I am is authority over all my universe. I ordain the 12 powers to spread absolute as the dominant vibration of my being. Breathe it in, and now to end, say it with me. The radiant I am is authority over all my universe. I ordain the 12 powers to spread absolute as the dominant vibration of my being. So it is, friends. God bless you all, and may you hold the high watch pristinely. Amen. Thus endeth the scriptures for today. Thank you all.
Reverend Toni, thank you, thank you, thank you. There's a lot of meat on that plate, and this is a time where I'm so grateful that the service is recorded, that your talk is recorded and available on our website, unityottawa.org, so we can go back and watch it again. Because what struck me is you kind of casually mentioned your 50 years of spiritual study, and to me, that isn't someone who kind of knows a lot and can share a lot. It's that you have spent 50 years embodying this material. You present yourself as an embodiment of what you've learned, and a lot of it's part of what you say, but it's also just part of who you are. That I feel it from across the ether. So thank you. I'm overwhelmed. And if you would like more of Reverend Toni, guess what? She's coming back in October. And our stellar spiritual content coordinator, Reverend Roxanne Buckle, is getting that all organized with Reverend Toni. Reverend Roxanne, could you tell us a little bit about what we can look forward to in October?
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, let me just come down from that incredible, Toni. Yeah, so as you can appreciate, everyone, Reverend Toni is in very high demand as a spiritual teacher and guest speaker, but we are blessed through our coordination with Unity Kitchener that Reverend Toni Boehm is going to be back the first 2 weeks of October 3rd here at Unity Spiritual Center, Ottawa, and then the second part at Unity Kitchener. And Reverend Toni teaches this. It's called. I made notes. Oh, where is it? I'm so overwhelmed. Coherence or resistance.
Coherence versus resistance. Where do you want to live?
Yeah, where do you want to live, in coherence or resistance? So we will get a taste of that in a 2-part talk, and then next year I am coordinating with Reverend Toni to also do a workshop about that, because she gives a class about that. So we are really in for a treat in a couple weeks. And I know that Reverend Toni has the big blessing right now of celebrating her husband's birthday with family. So she's not going to be around for us after service, but you can look forward to connecting with her in a few weeks on October 3rd. Okay, so Reverend Toni, again, blessings. Thank you so much. You are you are a gift.
Thank you.
And
I put the affirmation in the chat.
Thank you. And I made notes of the 12 gates, maybe in my own words, but I can also summarize that for people. And again, have a wonderful day celebrating with your family, and we'll see you in October.
Thank you all. I appreciate you giving me this little leave right now. Thank you. Thank you. See you in October. Bye.
Bye.